My husband chose his Magic, the Gathering tournament over our baby's birth, so I took everything from him. I had been calling Gavin for 20 minutes before he finally picked up between rounds at his Magic, the Gathering tournament. He had left that morning without showering even though I begged him to because I could smell him from across the room. The baby's coming. You need to come home now, I gasped into the phone. There was this long silence before he started talking to me like I was stupid. Really? Today? When you know this tournament is everything to me? I heard him breathing heavily through his mouth the way he always did. We both know you're just lying to make me quit. I felt a wave of pain in my stomach and screamed, "You can drive yourself to the hospital if this is real," but obviously it isn't. He kept going even though I was crying. "Stop trying to ruin this. I'm 3 wins away from nationals." He hung up before I could tell him about the water running down my legs. I called his friend Mike since he was playing at the same tournament. "Mike, please go tell Gavin the baby is really coming and I need him to come home." Mike went quiet on the other end. "He already told us you might pull something like this today because you've been jealous about how much time he spends at tournaments." I heard game announcements in the background and someone yelling about illegal sleeves. "I'll go talk to him, but he's in the middle of a match." 5 minutes later, Mike called back. He wouldn't even look at me and he turned his phone off. I called Gavin's brother next. "This better not be about that fake emergency Gavin warned me about," his brother said right away. "He posted in the family group chat that you were trying to ruin his big day." I was sobbing so hard I could barely talk. "Please just come help me get to the hospital." He hung up on me. That's when I realized I had no other choice. I called 911 and rode to the hospital alone in an ambulance. By the time I got to the hospital, the baby was ready to be born, and the doctor said we couldn't wait any longer. "Where's the dad?" the nurse kept asking while I pushed. "Is he coming?" another nurse said while wiping sweat off my face. "My husband is at a Magic, the Gathering tournament," I finally said between pushes. The nurses looked confused. "A what?" I screamed through the pain. "It's a game where adults play with cardboard pictures of wizards and dragons and argue about something called the stack." The younger nurse suddenly looked interested. "Wait, I think my nephew is there too." The older nurse rolled her eyes and held my hand tight. "My son was born at 3:47 p.m. while his dad was 4 miles away playing with pieces of cardboard." "You did amazing," the nurse said while cleaning the baby. Meanwhile, Gavin was losing to a teenager at a folding table in a convention center that smelled like armpit and cheese. After a few hours, I heard voices outside my door. "Excuse me, sir, but you can't just wander around the maternity ward," a nurse said. "I'm here to see my wife," Gavin's voice said. "Sir, we're going to need you to go back to the shelter and clean up first." The door opened and Gavin stood there in his stained anime shirt with grease in his hair. "She's my wife," he said, pointing at me. The nurse's face went red. "Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were." She backed out of the room fast. Gavin immediately started complaining about losing the tournament before he noticed the baby in my arms. "Did you finally come to meet my son?" I asked. His face went white. "Why didn't anyone tell me it was real?" I laughed, but it wasn't funny. "Everyone tried, but you told them I was lying." I picked up the envelope next to my bed with my free hand. "See this birth certificate? There's no name in the father box, though the nurse suggested I put Jace the Mind Sculptor, since that's apparently worth more than you." His mouth fell open. "And here are the divorce papers I had prepared." He tried to ignore me and reached toward the baby, but I pulled my son close to my chest. "You made your choice at that tournament. Now I'm making mine."